She didn't even hit it good, and she's still leading.
We're excited to have Mark Mulder here in the Hilton Grand Vacations Tournament Champions Media Center. Mark, you were just talking about Lynn. You referenced her as a queen and a stud. Can you talk about playing a round of golf with her?
Well, I mean, I know she made a bogey here or there, but she didn't really make any mistakes. Even her suspect shots were still good. You know, I mean, you're going to miss putts here or there. I mean, all of us are trying to be patient. All of us are trying to just roll something in. None of us amateurs are really that good. So we're just trying not to screw it up. And she was fun to watch. She was fun to be paired with, and we had a great time.
So you talked about her round. Why don't you walk us through a little bit of yours? You said you struggled. You got off fast, but then you kind of slowed down.
I went birdie to start. I made a couple 20-footers on the first 2 holes, and I didn't make anything the rest of the day. You know, yesterday I made some good par putts. I made a few bogey putts on the back 9 to kind of keep my round there. But that's kind of how it is. You know, it's just I felt like I was kind of hanging on all day long. You know, just trying not to screw it up as opposed to being aggressive and trying to make something, get something going. It was just a feeling. It's not how it was, but it was a feeling of don't screw this up. Like, come on, just get it to Saturday, and well, we're done. So I'm excited for Saturday. Let's put it that way.
You're no stranger to this tournament with what Hilton Grand Vacations does. You won it a few years ago, but it's a little bit kind of different today than it was when you won it. Can you talk about the differences between the two and how you enjoy it?
I mean, with the scoring, it's unless you're making eagles, it's for us celebs. It's kind of a stroke play event. You know, it's just double bogeys is 0, so and then bogeys 1 and par. So it's a stroke play event. You know. So if you get too far behind somebody, which I've done in the past, handful of the past years, I'm a slow starter. So it was nice to not get off to a slow start yesterday. So I'm fine where I'm at. You know, I just come Sunday, I want to be in the final group so we can look eye to eye and best man wins.
It's a very unique tournament with what Hilton Grand Vacations does. What do you enjoy the most besides playing with the best golfers in the world? What else do you enjoy about this week?
It's just the competition. You know, us as ex-athletes, we don't get to do this very much. My career ended a long time ago. And so getting to compete, and no matter what sport it is, for me to compete against other guys, I just love it. You know, I miss it, to be fair. People ask me, oh, do you miss the game? No, I don't miss baseball. I just miss competing. And so golf kind of gives me a little bit of this outlet. Whether it's the American Century, whether it's here, no matter what it is, I just want to compete in something, and that was taken away from me a long time ago. So to be able to do this, I just feel very fortunate.
We'll open up to the floor.
What have you learned over the years about being patient in golf?
Well, you know, it's similar to pitching because I can give up a homer in the second inning, and my oldest son plays golf. He's a junior in high school. He's getting recruited. He's really good. But when I give up a homer in the second inning, what am I supposed to do? Throw my glove to the ground? No. Give me another ball. Let's make another pitch. You know, and I talk to my son all the time about until you look at that ball that's hitting the trees as an opportunity to hit a good shot, to hit your next shot be a good one, you have to be patient. You know, and I think pitching is very similar to golf. Nothing can really happen until you do it. Now, granted, I can make a really bad pitch, and we can hit a one-hopper to the shortstop or a line drive to the center fielder or somebody rob a homer. I mean, whatever it is. But it's similar. And so when it comes to golf, I personally don't have a problem being patient. More than anything, sometimes I have a problem kind of getting into it because we need to make some birdies. I need to make some putts. And too many times I get a little lackadaisical out on the course because I'm like, oh, it'll happen. And before you know, you got a handful of holes left. You're like, it's not happening. Like, come on, here we go. So that's more or less, I think, my problem sometimes.
When did your son first beat you?
Oh, 3-4 years ago. I mean, I've started putting, when I do beat him, I put it in my phone with the date and the score because I'm well aware that the final time of me winning is almost over. Our games are going in opposite directions, trust me. So I'm very well aware, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I love it.
Last question. What's it like being a golf parent, and what advice would you give to other golf parents?
So my oldest is 17, plays golf. I have a girl in the middle, and my youngest is 12, and he plays baseball. And I help coach that 12-year-old team, so trust me, it is very different. Because I've had whatever you want to call a little bit of success in the golf world, what I call success, it's difficult because I want my son to. Everybody wants their kid to find success in something. And my son has a passion for the game of golf. And so it's really hard for me to find that mix of getting on him a little bit, but yet encouraging him. So it's difficult at times. I kind of lost it on him last weekend before I left because this will get me in trouble. He's a little more like my wife, personality-wise, where he's a little lackadaisical at times, where my wife can walk into a room of knowing nobody and she has 15 dinner dates when she leaves. I can walk in of knowing nobody, and I'll know nobody when I leave the room. So, he gets on the putting green. He's like, hey, buddy, hi,
Yeah.
And there's that level of focus that's like, no, you're there to beat these kids. You're not there to hit and giggle.
Yeah.
So I have a little bit of a battle with him at times. I just want him to love it. I want him to love something. I think every parent does. And because I've had a little, whatever you want to call, maybe success in golf, there's a fine line for me. So I have to be careful. I have to be a little careful of how much I get on him. But he's also friends with 15 tour players because I live in Scottsdale, and he knows plenty of tour guys, and they've all helped him. They've all talked to him. So I'm like, oh, okay, John Rahm helps you for 2 days, hitting 50 and 54s from 50 to 90 yards. And then your first day next weekend, you hit nothing but 60s. Good job, buddy. Like, you have one of the best in the world trying to help you, and you ignored everything he said. That's kind of how it goes with my 12-year-old when I give pitching advice. Yeah. What do you know, Dad? Whatever.
Perfect.
It's how it is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike Brodsky, Florida National News. You talk about obviously wanting to compete in these tournaments, these celebrity tournaments, but have you actually made any connections or any good friendships with some of the other players because of these charity golf tournaments, celebrity golf tournaments?
I mean, I've gotten to play with Brooke Henderson. I've gotten to play with Lexi. I've gotten to play with Nelly. I've played with most of them, most of the best. So, a lot of these girls are going to come to Phoenix. I live in Scottsdale, but I just found out yesterday they're going down to Whirlwind, Whirlwind. It's a long ways from my house, but they're going to be down there. When it was at Superstition Mountain a couple years ago, a bunch of us, me and a bunch of baseball guys, we all played in the Pro-Am. We had Lexi Thompson one of the night for 9 holes. Now I'm spacing on who. Either way, I love the LPGA Tour. I cheer for these girls. I've gotten to know a lot of them. Like I said, I've been paired with them all, so I thoroughly enjoy, and I enjoy watching them all. I love competing against them. I know I can't beat them, but I love playing with them because just like today, Queen, I was trying to beat her. I didn't beat her, but I was 2 under through 2, so I thought I was. Yeah. And then she just made a lot of birdies and pars, and I made bogeys. So that's the way it goes.
Well, best of luck this weekend.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Mark, last question. You're 2 points behind the gentleman sitting right behind me. What's your take on playing with him over the next couple of days?
Well, he was probably a point or two behind me today. So we're amateurs for a reason. I'm going to go out and try to make a bunch of putts tomorrow. And, I made those first 2 birdies, and he stayed right there and started draining some putts. And I kind of faltered a little bit, and that's the way it goes. But we're only halfway through this event. So there's a lot of guys behind Joe and I that can still be in the mix of this thing, and we're well aware of that.
Great. Thanks very much for your
Cool.
time.
Thank you.